Hello and welcome to this exciting webinar of Beyond the Binary powered by FineShift on AI/ML and DevSecOps. In a world where data fuels innovation and technology is shaping our reality, two very powerful forces are emerging. That is artificial intelligence and machine learning. Both of them are driving the evolution of processes, products, and experiences. Now, these two forces, when it is paired with DevSecOps, we are entering an era that demands us to think both creatively and defensively. In order to understand how AI ML is shaping the software development and thereby DevSecOps, we will be joined by our esteemed guest who is expert in the field, ready to share his insights and experiences. So, whether you are here to expand your knowledge, sharpen your skills, or simply just to satisfy your curiosity, fasten your seatbelts because this is your ticket to a journey of discovery and innovation. So, without further ado, we welcome our honored guest, Mr. Samar Akub from GitLab. Hello and welcome, Samar.
Hello, Swapnil. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the great introduction.
Before starting, I would love your introduction to let our audience know, please.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Swapnil. So, yep, my name is Samir Akub. I am the Senior Solution Architect for Channels and Alliances with GitLab. I have been with GitLab for almost 4 years now, since 2020, January 2020. I'm based in Australia, but I'm covering the whole Asia Pacific region. My job mainly is to work with key partners like, of course, FineShift and our alliances like Google and AWS, and to make sure that all the technical and pre-sales and solution engineers teams have enough knowledge to deal, work, and position GitLab. So, yep, thank you very much for having me today.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we, in fact, are honored and glad you are here. So,
Thank
to
you.
begin with, I would just remind our audience that today's topic is artificial intelligence, that is AI/ML and DevSecOps, its insights, challenges, and future. So to begin with, my very first question to you, Samar, would be, how does artificial intelligence intersect with the principles of DevSecOps?
Oh man, this is a very excellent question to start with. So, like as you know, and everybody on the call would imagine, AI is now the new trend. Everybody is talking about AI, and it is almost we can see it in almost everything we do in IT. Now, when it comes to DevSecOps, AI added that extra layer of helper. I think of it as someone sitting next to me as an engineer, as a planner, who's taking my hands and helping me doing my work, right? AI is there to help me write code. AI is there to help me to create descriptions. AI is there to make the DevSecOps lifecycle smoother and to take the burden of all the tasks we usually lazy to do, we don't like to do, right? We spend time doing and make people time more free towards generate or building creative code.
Wonderful, wonderful. I mean, is it like a Jarvis in Iron Man? If I have to say this one.
To answer your question, Swapnil, this is actually you are right in the example, and I like to think of AI, as I said before, as my mate, my friend, the electronic friend who is sitting next to me. I'll give you an example, Swapnil. In my previous company, we had that practice of pair programming, like two people working on the same machine, the same laptop, the same mouse, but
Mhm.
and looking at the same screen, but one is writing the code and the other one is monitoring and giving this coaching, and we keep on switching between the two, and it really believe that it enhances the quality of the code. Now think of this AI as you are writing the code, you are running the DevSecOps, and there is your mate sitting next to you, which is the AI engine throughout the DevSecOps lifecycle.
That's very interesting, in fact.
Yeah.
And but however, Samar, could you just provide a brief overview of the key components of DevSecOps and its importance in modern software development?
This is excellent, actually. Yeah, absolutely. Now, DevSecOps. If you ask people today in the market, what is DevSecOps? Most probably you will get so many different answers. But let's put it in a very simple way. As everybody knows, DevOps. Let's start from there. DevOps. It's the bridge between development and operation. Now, with the maturity of this DevOps integration, it is not anymore only development. It is development or infrastructure or operation and operation. It is the automation and the operation in one box. Now, with the security in the middle, and this is very important, security as a core part. Okay, it becomes that I am doing the development, I am doing the scanning and the security and the checks and the vulnerability checks within my development, within my DevOps, and then I am pushing it towards the operations and deployment. Now, so very important thing here, many customers I've worked with, they look at DevOps plus security, or they have the model of DevOps plus security, which I do believe that it is different than DevSecOps, right? DevOps plus security means that I have automation for my build, for my DevOps cycle, but then I have that box of security. I'm passing my code through to have it scanned before it is deployed. But there is still a disconnection between this DevOps and that box, and still there is like a manual step to pass the results back and correlate the findings to the code, to the developer who did the code. DevSecOps is a practice. It's something that you are adding security in really the key chain of the tool chain of the developers, which means at the same time the developer is doing the development, he's also doing the security vulnerabilities and security scanning, and he's getting the result within this at the same level within his code before pushing it as much as possible before it is getting closer to the production day. So the short answer to your question is DevSecOps is the automation of the development, the build, the security, the scanning, and then the operation around deployment to the different stages, automation of the testing until the code make it all the way to the production.
Very interesting, Summer. I mean, that is an interesting observation, and obviously, our audience will be definitely getting a lot of insights about it. A one-liner, I would say, what DevSecOps is all about. But however, an interesting question, because we are emerging into era of artificial intelligence. So, how does artificial intelligence enhance the efficiency and security of DevSecOps processes?
Excellent, excellent, man. Absolutely. Now let's start with the fact. In a study in the market, you know how much time or what's the percentage of the time the developers actually spending writing code, comparing to all the overall development? Man, only 40%, right? Only 40%. The rest of their time is spent around what is this ticket and into what is this code I am changing, into documenting the code, into passing the code to the review team. In the market today, there is a misconception that AI is equals to code generation and DevOps, and that's it. AI is an engine that would help developers to generate code, which is not true, which is not, man, in a study, they found that developers only spend around 40% of their time actually writing code. So if you are if you are claiming that I can enhance the developer productivity by only doing code generation, which means that you are only impacting 40% of their tasks. But there are a lot of other tasks that developers are spending time on. Man, writing the script, writing the ticket, reviewing the comments on a ticket that came to you to do the implementation, actually writing code, review, understanding the code that exists today, the code you are trying to change, understanding or summarizing the changes or the merge request or the review comments, and many other tasks. So how AI can help? AI today should be an engine that provides all the functions. As I said before, it is that dude, that mate who's sitting with the developer across the whole life cycle. AI should be an engine that starts from I am writing a ticket. I'm helping as an AI. I'm helping you. Swapnil, I will write the description for you. Give me what you think of, and I will write the description for you. Then I'm sending it to the developer, Mr. Developer. Here is a summary of all the comments that been added to you to the ticket. I will explain the code to you. I will help you write the code or do the code generation. Yes, it is part, but it's not everything. There are so many other things. I'll explain to you the vulnerability. I'll explain to you the security in English. I am the expert. I'm sitting next to you. I'm someone who will tell you, yeah, this is what they mean by that code. Don't worry, I will help you. I'm here to support you, Mr. Developer. You just focus on the code you are writing. You know what I mean? So to answer your questions, the benefits of the AI or into DevSecOps is taking care of all the tasks, not only code generation, all the tasks that can support the developer and the planning and the security team in their DevSecOps cycle.
Very much interesting. In fact, you mentioned that developers spent only about 40% of their time coding.
Yes.
And that's where there is a lot of misconception in the market that AI is going to come and take our job. It is, and that is
True.
where people are, in fact, companies, organizations, in fact, developers are so reluctant by some means or the other means. They still use AI. However, not in public they will advocate for the use of AI. And that is where my next question is, how do organizations, in fact, there are a lot of challenges while incorporating AI into any organizations, right?
Yes.
So, what are some common challenges organizations face when integrating AI into their DevSecOps practices, and
Mhm.
how these challenges can be overcome?
That's an excellent question. You know, the biggest challenge there is security. AI is the new hype, right? It's the new cool thing everybody wants to utilize. But organizations, and I think if you do simple search on the internet, you will see how many cases were there for code leakage because AI was adopted without enough strains, without enough constraints on the adoption on it, right? So the biggest challenge, I believe, how can I make sure that this guy who's the AI who's helping me is not passing my code to someone else, is not using my code to train its model and then generate code for based on my training to someone else, and this can be my competitor or simply code that should not leave my premise. I think that's the biggest worry and biggest challenge and the biggest concern for most of the. And honestly speaking, recently most of the AI discussions with key customers are between two things. What are the key capabilities? And can you please tell us exactly how our code will be used, where it will be stored, where it will be shared, and will it be used to train your models or not? Which is in GitLab, absolutely, we don't use customer code, private code to train our models by any means. That's like a big no-no for us.
Interesting mention. You said that the key concerns for organization is about the code security in terms of what the proprietary code you mean to say.
True.
Excellent. And,
Absolutely.
and that's where that's where tools like GitLab are making an advanced step in not letting use the customer code. In fact, they are training their
Yeah.
model on their databases.
Yes.
Right.
Totally.
Wonderful. But however, Samar, if you say, then let's say any organization now is ready to embark on the AI journey with DevSecOps.
Yes.
So what are the potential benefits? they can rip out of it after implementing AI into their set of ecosystem?
Excellent. Make their developer even smarter and more productive. AI is taking AI is. I don't think AI will replace all the engineers, but AI will make the engineers more productive, more focused on building code, right? And building creative stuff. Again, I'll give you an example, Sokman. If you remember a long time ago when I used to be a developer, one of the bottlenecks we had by that time was I need an infrastructure to deploy my code. I'm sure you remember creating a server, physical server, it means at least a couple of months process to procure, to download, and install. But then the cloud era came. And now I can have a server immediately. Within 2 minutes, I can have my own instance. I can deploy my stuff. Did it really replace me, or did it really replace the infrastructure team? Not really, but they made the infrastructure team more creative, right? Now,
Right.
AI will cut down, will cut off, will remove all the copy and paste tasks, all the documentation, time-consuming documentation tasks. AI will help me understand what I'm trying to do quicker and better, and help me generate. Yes, AI can generate the code for me, but it is me who's now responsible to put all of these pieces together and build the overall system. I don't have to go, yeah, how to build that function. Okay, 1 second, I'll go into Google, for example, and search how to build, and then copy and paste that, and then no. Just put a comment, AI will put the code for you. But now you are the master, you are the orchestrator, you are the magician to put all of these code pieces together and build a pioneer system. So AI will make the organizations more productive. And I tell you, AI will make the competition between organizations even harder, because now the time to market is even faster. And now it is, as an organization, you have two options. Either you say, no, I don't want that AI, but then you're still doing it the old way, or you adopt AI too fast, and still you will be exposed. Trust me, you will be in the news at some point because you have been exposed. Or cautiously and know exactly where your code is adopted, and adopt these AI capabilities and employ them to help your team be more productive.
I rightly mentioned, Samar, and you mentioned about how previously, traditionally, whenever we used to have any server to be set up, it used to take at least a month to set it up, right? But however, don't you think we had been using AI for decades with the help of Google? Because I don't think developers' life would have been complete without Google. What do you
Totally.
think? It was only after ChatGPT, the generative AI came into a lot of limelight, and that's when we started a real discussion and use cases of AI. What's your thought on this one?
Absolutely. The difference between Google search and the AI, generative AI, okay, is generative AI can create for me something new, totally. Google will do a search for existing stuff, okay? Google will not take your code or take your comment and generate code for you. Google will not, at least, I mean, sorry, I'm talking here about Google search. Google AI can do that. I'm not talking about Google AI capabilities, just to be clear here. I'm talking about the typical Google.com search engine. Let's say not only Google, any search engine in general, the search engine will search in that existing data. Generative AI will generate for you data, contextual data based on the context you are in, based on the input. And that's now the key now is not in how to create a data model, because that's already done. That all the big players have already created data models for you, and they are multi-billion-dollar data model. It's the key here is how can I utilize that engine, that brain. So it's now we are in the new era of prompt engineering. You engineer the question, not the answer.
Not
You
the
know?
answers. Yeah.
Yes. So basically, yes, that's the main difference between the search engine. Yes, you are right. Plus, man, search engine is as you said, have been there for the last maybe 20 years, but you have to switch the context, do use the search, and then it's your responsibility to put the things together. In AI, it's my mate here who knows everything, and he understands my code, and he can put together the response to me based on the context I have.
Truly said, Samar. But my one question would be here: will this generative AI will make developers, for that matter, more smart, or will they become really lazy on the creative side? What do you think?
I think they will be on the creative side. If you are lazy, AI will replace you. If you are, I'll tell you something. Let's face the fact. There are developers today in the market. Okay, not all the developers are smart. There are developers today in the market that they are just doing the traditional non-creative work. Copy paste, put things together, copy functions between pages, right? Man, and it is totally acceptable because that's part of the job. These jobs will almost be replaced. Today, AI is able to generate test cases for you. So, in other words, Swapnil, in a trip between two cities in India, for example, I may give you a car that can go up to 60 kilometers or miles per hour until, okay, I say, okay, so this is the car, and that's fine. And it is totally acceptable for the business owner for you to take 4 hours to go from here to there, and you are just driving that car. While driving that car, it is totally consuming you. You don't have any time to do anything else on the way. Now I'm taking that car out. I'm giving you a fully automated car, and I'm telling you, Swapnil, you have to go between these two cities. And now in 2 hours, and meanwhile you are going, I'm expecting you to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other tasks, because guess what? That driving function, I'm automating it for you. I'm taking that off your brain, and while you are driving, Swapnil, I'm expecting you to think of the next presentation or the next architecture you will be doing, and that will be totally acceptable. Now it is your call whether you use that extra time and extra capacity I'm giving you to be creative, or you drive the car in the old-fashioned way, which at some point that auto-driving engine will replace the driver. You know what I mean?
What a wonderful anecdote. In fact, very well said, Samar, about this one. But however, uh, you know, even though we the time to market is faster, we need to ship the products faster in the market because of the competition. Everything is fair enough. But however, don't you think AI will, seriously challenge the security aspects within an organization?
Totally, absolutely, absolutely. I'll tell you in what aspects, multiple aspects. First of all, the one we talked about is about the data privacy, right? Now, the other thing, and we had this discussion with customers, is that people are super excited about generating code faster. The question is, yes, fine, the code generation will be faster, but Mr. Customer, are you ready with the other components post-code generation to consume and check and deploy that faster generated code before it is delivered or to being deployed? So at some point, it puts more stress. That's what I say. That's why, speaking of AI as only code generation, have defaults. As much as it looks sparkling, but man, it puts more stress on the other ecosystem and the overall tool set or life cycle for software development, because software development is not only code generation. So I have to automate everything. And data privacy is one thing. The other thing is checking this more faster generated code. Sorry, I have to keep going back to the cars example. I'm giving you a faster car, but because it is faster now, guess what? You need more control. You need more safety strains in the car. You need better safety kit, and that's exactly what should be in the organizations. Yes.
I think that is very interesting finding. I mean, moving on to the next question, Samar. You said, of course, the security will be a bigger challenge in front of the organizations, not only in terms of about data security, but also about, keeping in mind what features they are handing it to their customers, you
Yes,
know, and particularly banking in that, for that matter, will be very, are very keenly watching the development of AI, and they are sitting on the like the sides of the river, whether to go in or whether to stay outside the, main stream of
totally.
AI. So I wanted to understand, for organizations, if they are looking to adopt this enhanced AI-based DevSecOps, what are the steps you'd be recommending for the successful
Excellent.
implementation?
Excellent. Let me answer you from past experience with the cloud. I was working with a bank when the cloud started to be very common in real environments in Australia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we started adopting the cloud, there was a big question mark around the security. Like to what extent should we adopt the cloud in a financial sector? Okay, and I had friends working for government agencies as well, and they had the same concerns. To what extent should we put our data there, right? Should we go fully fledged and deploy, or should we go just testing? And initially we used the cloud just for testing environments, non-production data, non-real data, just testing. I
Mm-hmm.
think the AI will go through the same cycle. The most important thing, if I am a decision maker in any organization, is that I need to verify and bring in the technology owners in my room and get a written assurance actually on how my code will be used, where it will be shared, what is the mix between my code and other customer code in this AI engine. So there is something happened definitely. There is an AI brain engine data model in the background that's handling your questions and many other customers' questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I first of all, the adoption cycle is I need to verify and do enough checks on the life cycle for any API request into AI, right? And how my code will be used, how my code will be stored, how the data will be shared outside.
Mm-hmm.
Second, I would say that AI will start similar to the cloud, will be used for testing staging environments before it is used for an actual production level or production code in environment, or let's say customer sensitive data environments.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, and this is very, very important, when adopting the AI, my advice to the customer, don't limit yourself into code generation. Code
Okay.
generation is just one block. Think of AI as a platform, as
Mm-hmm.
suite of services or functions. Because remember, Mr. Customer, only doing code generation, as much as it is fancy, as you said before, it puts stress on the other parts of the organization. The code quality, the code security, even the deployment. So
Mm-hmm.
we can be enhancing one part while putting uh, pressure on the other stages in the. So think of AI, adopt AI gradually, and think of it as a suite of components that covers the planning, the development, the security, and the deployment side as well.
That is an interesting observation, Samar. But let's say I am a CXO.
Okay.
Let's say I am a CXO, and I would definitely need my organization to be update regarding, this AI and ML. We also would like to, ship our product faster than the competitor. What is that message you would like to give as a decision maker?
Yes.
How, that particular message, how should we really be taking these things?
With caution. Be yeah. As yeah, man. I won't. Sorry, I don't want to sound like I'm repeating myself, but really here is take it with an extra lens of validation. Take it with be very cautious on how you are sharing and how your code is used and shared.
Mhm.
So yes, AI is cool. AI is nice. absolutely, it's something that everyone will use it. You like it or not, will be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But AI is opening a back door in our organizations, in our systems. We are sharing our code. To
Right.
what extent are we sharing our code? Where the code is stored? What features, what functions AI is helping me in? Yeah. So this is very important for them to consider.
So, however, then look, as uh, I mean, we use as a C-level executive, companies use a lot of tools and technologies to stay updated. And now plenty of organization or plenty of product owners are coming up with this AI feature. So
Yes.
what on their behalf, let's say you are from GitLab, how these companies are taking care or making sure that your customers do not face these kinds of challenges, what steps you are taking care in terms of enriching your product, stay up to date. Let's say I think I'm talking straight away talking about GitLab Duo, which is
Yes.
a new feature that is coming up. So how
Yes.
are you ensuring that your customers security is being given the prime focus? However, while doing that, you're also incorporating a lot of new features.
So when we speak with our customers, to answer your question on GitLab Duo, yes, you are right. GitLab Duo is the packaging of GitLab AI capabilities. And when I say capabilities, again, it's not only code suggestion, it's the end-to-end capabilities from planning all the way to the deployment. But the first question, and you are rightfully right, you are absolutely right. The first question we get from a customer: how do you do privacy? How do you handle my code? Why should I open and adopt your AI capabilities? And the guarantee, and this is on our public website, we take privacy extremely serious in GitLab. We don't store customer data anywhere. Even when we use in the back end, we use something like Google Vertex AI engine. The request when we send the API request, it is all encrypted. Nothing is stored in our side. Nothing is stored on the Google side. And the most important fact, we don't use customer data to train our model or Google model. Absolutely not. So there is no way a customer data or customer code will be used and then at some point be recommended to someone else outside GitLab. 100% not. This is why customers really like the discussion with us around the AI, because man, it's not about being the first in the market. It's good to be in the first in the market. It's not only about that. Certainly, if you do a search on internet and just search for AI leaked code, or how many times the code was leaked, you'll be surprised, man. There have been some very serious issues because of the code has been used to train AI models. This will not happen with GitLab, simply because we don't use your code, Mr. Customer. So yes, we would love to be the first and pioneer in the market, but we are moving in a very, let's say, planned way, so that we make sure that we keep the privacy as a top priority, even on top of releasing new capabilities fast.
I think that is a I think that is a very bold statement in terms of privacy, which GitLab is boasting, and you
Yeah,
have made it.
totally.
And if at all, I mean, to our listeners, if at all any C-level executives listening this, we have to please pay a very kind attention to this one. This is where whenever you are selecting any tool of your choice, this is the very differentiating point which needs to be taken care, how exactly the AI models are being trained, how exactly whether or not their particular proprietary code is being used to train their particular model. Because every now and then there will be one or the other tool who will be boasting themselves of, we are AI capable, we have machine learning, we have blah blah things and so many things. But at the on from the security perspective, it is very much essential to note how these AI models are being trained, and that's where I think GitLab is doing a very wonderful job of keeping customers privacy first attitude, I would say.
Absolutely, Swapnil. And maybe just to summarize to your question, if I'm adopting AI, there are two things. I need to validate or do a proper vetting for the technology, and then I need to set an adoption plan and see where does it fit in my ecosystem. When I'm checking the technology, first, make sure that your code is kept private. And this is what we in GitLab Duo make it extremely, as you said, bold, extremely important. We don't use your code, Mr. Customer, to train our model at all, right? Second, what AI capabilities are you adding to your ecosystem? It's not only code generation. I'm not saying that because we do have code generation, we do have code suggestion. It's a core part of our AI offering. But AI for GitLab is a story, is a Duo. That's why we named our suite of AI capabilities GitLab Duo. Duo means that mate, that friend. He's not only doing code generation for you, but he's helping the planning team, he's helping the security team, and he's helping everyone else who's using the platform. In terms of adoption, once you start adopting, make sure that you serve each and every personnel in the DevSecOps lifecycle. DevOps is not developing only, as you know, Swapnil. DevOps starts all the way from planning. Are you helping these people? Are you helping the security team? Are you helping the developers? So what AI capabilities are you adding? In that case, when you set up this new nice car for driving with all the, you're sure that it is driven with a brand new engine, but also with all the safety around that, so you know that you will reach there safely.
Absolutely, Samar, absolutely. And that being said, I mean, I think we are really on brink of time up, I would say. But again,
Yes.
I would just conclude this session with a one last question. Uh,
Yes.
if I have to ask you, I mean, lot of customers these days prefer on-premises version of development tools in order to safeguard their proprietary code. But
Yeah.
you also know that generative AI works only if it's connected. So does that mean everybody has to be on cloud?
Not really. Not okay. Well, uh, you can use at some point at this time. Yes, you have to be connected, but you in GitLab, and this is the nice thing about GitLab. I still can use my GitLab self-managed instance and configure my IDE to securely connect to GitLab.com and use the AI engine from there. Right?
Oh,
So do I have, as you know, GitLab has different consumption models: GitLab dedicated, GitLab.com as a SaaS, and GitLab self-managed. So to use AI capabilities, especially for the code generation, to use that, do I need to always run on GitLab.com? Not really. I can really run in my own IDE. Now, for the other AI capabilities, the answer is yes for the time being. But I think with the more evolvement, the more maybe at some point we will have the AI engine to be installed at the customer side.
I think we are talking about the future in then. That's
Absolutely, yes.
wonderful, wonderful.
That's right.
And just to sum it up, I would the one last question would be a
Sure.
message to a developer, please, in terms of AI.
Uh, Look at the AI not as something that compete with your work, with your job, but it is more of an engine to make you faster and more creative. So it's a helper that you are getting a new mate. You are getting a new helper, a new coach sitting next to you. Use that coach to make your life easier and focus more on creative stuff. Don't think of him or her as someone who take your job.
Well, if you're listening this one, this is very important. AI is here just not to replace you, but to replicate you in some sort of you would say
Yes.
creativity, innovation, and all sort of that thing.
Yes.
And I believe we had a very, very fruitful and insightful discussion around AI, ML, and DevSecOps. I suppose and I believe, in fact, the way Samar has, given a lot of what I would say answers from his experience that will be related to, I think, most of the developers and even the decision makers will be, make the most out of it if they are thinking, to join the bandwagon of DevSecOps and, for that matter, AI/ML. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much, Samar, for joining
My
us on this
pleasure.
webinar, and we are thrilled and we are honored, in fact,
Thank you.
on such a short notice, you joined us, and you have really,
Absolutely.
really, thrilled our audience with the deep knowledge.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sopni, for having me, and thank you for this great discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
See you.